We are going to be solving an issue that has bugged Melissa for an extremely long time. So the first step.
Didn't you?
Oh my gosh.
But that is significantly easier.
What is up, guys? I'm Jesse. This is Melissa. We are Adventure Endeavor. And today we are going to be solving an issue that has bugged Melissa for an extremely long time. When we first started looking at RVs, she absolutely loved a certain style of step, but we've kind of just put up with what every rig comes with. Just your standard trifold steps that go under your rig.
Like this right here.
Like that. Right there. And it's been too long, right, babe?
Yes, I've really wanted solid steps for a really long time, and now we are finally doing it.
So that's what this video is going to be all about today. We're going to be installing the solid step. We're going to try and do step by step to show you how we install them on our rig. Every rig is different. The steps are pretty much similar, and we also have the lift assist, which is going to help when you're folding them back up in your rig, so you can use one finger instead of using one hand. Makes life so much easier.
So as you can see, these are pretty bouncy when you step on them. So you go up and down, and like the whole rig kind of moves, and it's just like, it's not really a big deal, but it's just one of those annoying things that over time, if you're constantly experiencing this, it just becomes really frustrating. It's not the most stable for our older dog. He has trouble going up and down these, so we just wanted something that was going to be a little bit more stable, a little bit more secure. Plus, I'm super clumsy, and I can't tell you how many times I've tripped going down because it like moves a little bit. You know, you'd think I would get used to that, but I'm just super uncoordinated, so it is what it is.
Another really nice thing about these solid steps is the top step is quite a bit wider than your standard steps. They give you a full, essentially like a platform. It's about 13 inches, and then your next step is about 8.5 inches. So when you come out of your rig, it's a lot easier to have a nice place to kind of stand, to get your grip, to use your handle. And they put grip tape on them as well, which is a nice feature. And then another reason we really wanted these solid steps is because we take our trailer off-road quite a bit. So the solid steps, they're not installed yet, but basically, you know, they fold up inside of the rig. So they're gonna be out of the way, the door will be closed, and then what we can do is we can remove the old steps and gain clearance here, so we're not hitting this on rocks or whatnot when we're going off-road, when we're going to look for boondocking spots.
Yeah, so we're gonna gain about, what do you call that, like 8 inches of clearance or so?
Yeah, a good amount of clearance. So those were kind of our main reasons, is a nice platform, a solid step, and ground clearance. And we think overall, these are gonna be awesome, and we're super excited to install them. So the first step.
Didn't you?
Oh my gosh. Will be getting your steps out of the way. So we're just gonna fold ours up, and we're gonna deal with that later because Northwood, the manufacturer of our trailer, they do everything above and beyond. These are fully welded on to our frame. So I'm gonna have to cut these off later. I didn't feel like it was necessary to have them out of the way. I kind of looked into the job. I think we'll be fine just folding them up. And then now we're gonna come outside and start on the solid step assembly. Okay, so this is the solid step, how it comes out of the box. It's fully assembled, ready to go. But like I stated earlier, we went ahead and got the lift assist as well. That comes in a separate box, and there's a few things you need to do to your solid step before you start the installation process. First thing you gotta do is you gotta install this lift assist bracket on the top of the steps. Basically, you're unbolting the old one, putting the new one on, because it gives you the bracket for the hydraulic lift, which will help lift your steps up. And then secondly, The catch mechanism needs to be replaced in the same position, but it's just slightly different. And they recommend you use the one that comes with the lift assist. So those are what we're gonna do first. We're gonna install these two, and then we're gonna install it onto the rig. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 1/2" socket and a 4mm Allen, and we're gonna go ahead and bolt the six bolts here to remove the upper portion, and then we're gonna reinstall the lift assist portion. You will need a 1/2" wrench as well to get the third bolt because the socket does not fit. All right, so I undid the 6 bolts, 3 on each side. This is the old bracket. That's what you would use if you're just doing the solid step, no lift assist. This is the new bracket. It's much more heavy duty, cut slightly differently, but most importantly, it has the bracket over here for the lift assist, the hydraulic assist. So we're just gonna slide it back on and bolt it up. So one pro tip is always get all of the bolts into place, lined up, and then get everything hand tight before you start using any tools. So you always wanna start everything hand tight to make sure you don't strip anything, and then from there you can go ahead and use your power tools or your wrenches in general.
Why do you get all 6 bolts hand tight before using power tools? Maybe you can
Because
elaborate.
sometimes if you don't get it lined up correctly, meaning all the bolts in, you might tighten one down and then you might not be able to maneuver it to line it up. So do everything loose and hand tight. It's just much easier. And then you always want to start them by hand because you don't want to just go ahead and start the nut onto the bolt because you can strip it. So you start it by hand, you know it goes on nice, then you can use your tool. So next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna remove our fire extinguisher. We're gonna remove the brackets because the lift assist strut is gonna live right here. We might actually need to remove our trim here, and on the bottom as well there's a little piece of trim. So we'll see once we get it in, but I know for a fact that this is gonna have to come out. So we're gonna take that out right now. What's the next step?
Okay, so next step is to get the steps in place. Just kind of line them up.
Yeah.
And then measure, what is that, the door jamb?
Yeah, we gotta measure for the lift assist because you need everything to clear. They do recommend installing these with your trailer level. Unfortunately, as you can tell, we're in the great wilderness. We're here boondocking. We're installing them while boondocking. So we're gonna go ahead and use the adjustable feet on the solid step to level it out so it makes the installation a little bit easier. Don't worry guys, normally we make jokes about instructions. This job's actually really easy, but I was just confirming their measurement here, which they said the threshold assembly needs to be over 2 5/8. This is very crucial for the lift assist. But after this, you won't need the instructions, especially once you watch this really great installation video. All right guys, so this is the crucial measurement here. And the reason this is so crucial is because it all correlates with the lift assist that's gonna fit in here. So they say 2 5/8 from your door jamb here to your threshold. We are just about there, 2 5/8. And then we're gonna go ahead and install our first 2 mounting screws into the decking, into our plywood floor here. All right, so we put our first 2 mounting screws in. We're gonna do a little test lift. Oh, it's so heavy. We really need a lift assist. Oh, we should totally put one on there. We're just confirming all of our clearances are good. We just have 2 screws in. Everything seems great. We have our feet adjusted because they recommended having them level when you install, and we're gonna give it a little no flex. Then you know what, guys? I would have to say they're very solid steps.
So there's this little white strip of, I guess you would call it molding right here.
Molding or
Trim that I am cutting and pulling out so that we have just a little bit extra space for the
lift assist wall bracket chingadera.
Sure, sounds great.
So now we have the lift assist bracket in place. It's a really tight fit on our trailer because of the way we have the cabinets. You also want to make sure that this lower piece is on the ground and that this inner piece is as close as you can get to your door frame. So we just
installed the lift assist, I'm gonna demonstrate how much easier this is. I barely like had to even touch it.
Bring it all the way up.
Push it a little bit further all the way in. But that is significantly easier.
Do you like that?
Than it was before. Oh my god, yeah.
All right, now pull it down. Show them how it kind of stops halfway.
So it'll kind of stop like right there.
Look, Melissa, no hands.
Ah,
And then pull it all the way down. You need a little touch.
just a little. I'm not a super strong person. And that was really easy.
One thing I typically do, this is like a personal trick, is I just mounted this lift assist bracket with just 2 screws just to make sure it was all in the right place and everything worked. And at the same time, we still only have our 2 original screws in here. So now that we know everything is working well in here, we're gonna finish up our screws on the lift assist and down here on our threshold plate, and then we're gonna adjust our catch for the steps. All right, the last step is going to be adjusting our catch so that the steps will basically ride right here, lock in place so they don't bounce around, so they don't hit your door in transit, yada yada. You're going to grab a 7/16 socket and we're going to loosen these up. It's really nice because they put a nutsert on the back, so that means basically you don't need a wrench on the back, which is just sweet. We're gonna pull it out. We're gonna slide it over yonder to where it looks decent. You don't want it too tight, but you want it just tight enough. Tighten them back up. We're gonna do the same on the other side. Same thing. You don't want it too tight because you don't want to fight it. But you want it snug enough to where it's gonna do its job.
So it's catching right here.
Yes. It's catching. Adjusted our slide to match up well to make sure our little pull pin here latches. We're good on that side. We did the same over here. We're good on this side. And then last but not least, you need to adjust these. And you just want to have them firm over, not pulling on this because you don't want it to come loose, but firmly over. And then you're just going to snug it up. Same on the other side. Firmly pulling on this little Allen head here. And if I did it correctly, we should be able to just pull this latch. Steps come out. Boom. Lift assist working. Now we're going to bring it down. It actually feels very stiff, to be honest. It feels like you're going to damage it, but you're not. There's our steps. You can tell right here we have 1 foot of adjustment because we're on quite a bit of a hill. So to adjust your feet, all you do is you have a little pull pin right here. Pull your pin out, slide it down 1 notch, pop the pin back in. Now, pretty solid. So that is it. It's that easy. Super solid steps. And then to put them away, you just lift with 1 finger or with no fingers. And then the final piece of puzzle, you just push it in all the way here. And then they just latch because these are spring loaded. It's latched in place. Everything's good to go.
Ready for travel, right?
Ready for travel.
Okay, we are done with our installation. We're really excited about this. Jesse thought that I was kind of ridiculous for wanting these for so long. But you know what? He's already admitted that they're pretty awesome.
They're pretty solid.
And we can tell already that there's a lot less movement from the inside of the trailer when somebody is coming in and out.
Yeah,
so
if somebody
that'll be
goes
nice.
up the steps with these old ones down here, you can totally feel the whole rig move. And now you don't. And if you do have a standard step like this, it just goes to show you don't need to take them off.
Yeah, it can stay. It can stay there. It can live right there. If in case you maybe think you're gonna buy a different RV down the road and you want to take your solid step with you, you don't have to cut off the old ones.
Also, they do offer a really cool storage box. So, a lot of fifth wheels or different trailers, you'll have fiberglass panels coming down right here, down to this height, like our old toy hauler was. and you can take your old steps out, and then they give you a cool storage box so you can open it up and you can store more stuff in there. So they found a really great solution to fill that gap and just make it look nice. But
That's pretty awesome.
we're excited.
Oh,
Gosh. They like,
Careful.
can't hit you. They're like so good.
Yeah, but anyway, so now your next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off our old steps, but we don't need to bore you with that whole process. Anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this step-by-step video on installing the Lippert Solid Steps.
Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.